Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia. This is the summary for day 16 of the conflict in Ukraine. Uh, so it started off to a very slow news day. There's not much information. There's just a lot of propagandas being thrown at each other, a lot of accusations, a lot of narrative. And then towards the later half of the day, suddenly a lot of information suddenly came out that was rather shocking. A lot of major progress by the Russians at the Donetsk Front. But first, I will start off with the smaller things first. The Russians missile strikes two air bases. One is the Ivano-Frankivsk International Airport, and the other one is the Lutsk military airfield. So they are being struck by long distance missiles. Not sure it's from the ships or is it from Belarus. So from my understanding is this air bases had already been taken out of action previously, and I think the Ukrainians have rebuilt or to repair or set up again the controls towers and everything to facilitate air force again. And to be honest, there's not much air force from my understanding, despite the Americans claim that there is still 50 over aircraft in Ukraine's military. My personal feeling is that that is not true, but I can be sure there's still some drones from the Turkish drones that they are still operating. That definitely I believe still have, because the drones is a lot smaller, it's a lot easier to hide. If you're talking about fighter jets, that's going to be very hard. Helicopters, perhaps, because helicopter can land anywhere. Fighter jets and major planes, I think that is really difficult. And so the Americans say that the Ukrainians are still flying 5 to 10 sorties a day. I believe that is referring to drones, because there are still drones being shot down and there are helicopters being shot down as well. So the helicopters probably is ferrying troops and supplies, perhaps. So giving the Russians some opportunity to take them out. So I still maintain my position. There's not much air force left. If you're talking about just 10 aircraft, that's not an air force. Seriously, that's not an air force. You can't fight with 10 aircraft. So anyway, going to the Kyiv front. Kyiv front, there is battle being reported at Bohdanivka and Ho-Liv. It is not clear to me if this is a Ukrainian counter-offensive or is this a Russian offensive. This is not so clear to me. What I do know is that the Russians have fortified positions along Zalivsia, Bohdanivka, and Svitlenia. So basically, is this is Svitnia, and all the way to Bohdanivka, Zalivsia. This entire line is actually a entrenched position by the Russians. They're gathering a lot of forces around here, and then there's battle being reported around here. So I don't think the Ukrainians will be have troops around here, since this is a mass gathering of Russian forces, which is why I put this as blue color, indicating this is a Ukrainian offensive. So the battle rages over here. Not much is known about Bucha anymore. I'm not sure if the Russians are still interested in Bucha and Irpin, but I believe they want the Russian objective on the western front is actually to capture all the way to the forest line here, so that it's only Kiev that is being surrounded, rather than there's still a suburb out here. The bridge is not repaired. There's a bridge over here. This bridge is where you saw the photos with all the civilians are walking through the water and trying to get into Kiev. So to me, that is just silly. They destroy the bridge and then trap their own civilians in a war zone, which is why, you know, sometimes you can sense that I'm not very approving of the Ukrainians. So there are still sporadic battles and bombardment on Chernihiv, and there's a western there's some. I think this I have reported before, so maybe I should remove this about the remove this. I think that's confusing. Konotop is being all these are being sieged, so there's really nothing much to talk about. All this thing is very because they are all just being surrounded and circled, and the Russians are not really doing much. They don't seem to be very interested to capture the cities. And in Kharkiv, there's a explosion at the Kharkiv Institute of Physics and Technology. So at this location, they actually research into nuclear technology, and then the Russia claims that the Ukrainians actually are developing dirty nuclear bombs over there, and then thus the Ukrainians blew up the building themselves to hide the evidence, while the Ukrainians say that it's the Russians that took out the building. To be honest, I think the Russians want have more sense, because if the Russians have been trying to find evidence of Ukraine wrongdoing in terms of creation or building of weapons of mass destruction to counter Russia, and then to destroy the very building that actually holds this evidence makes no sense. So I think this could actually really be a Ukrainian self-destruction in order to hide information and any intel from the Russians. I don't think the Russians would want to blow it up. So, but that's my take. Russians say Ukraine, Ukraine say Russia, so no one knows what's happening. Chuhuiv destroyed the bridge. I think I reported this yesterday, so I should delete this. And then there is not much news after the offensive. I think the offensive kind of just stopped at this point. Militarily speaking, this is not wise, because if you're going to do a counter offensive, you're not going to stop. You shouldn't stop. You should carry on, and they should actually penetrate through, go behind, and break, because the back part, the rear part of any front line is usually very fragile, and then there's a lot of supplies and fuel and ammunition, and that's where you want to hit it. So if you have a breakthrough, you need to penetrate through and go into the rear of the front line and cause havoc. Unfortunately, the offensive seems to have stopped. I think this is a bad military move. They took Chuhiv and then they entrenched. This is not very good warfare, to be, if you ask me. On Izium, the battle of Izium continues. So the Russians still have not taken Izium. There's a heavy fighting reported in the southern part of Izium. So the battle still rages on. Not sure how long more. For the Ukrainians, perhaps they are actually reinforcing to prevent the fall of the city, because this is a major city. The fall of Izium would mean that this entire road will not be usable all the way down to Sloviansk, and the resupply route, this entire resupply route will be rendered pointless. So this will be unusable. This is unusable. There's also information regarding there is actually about Izium. So there is a humanitarian evacuation previously being announced from Izium to be evacuated all the way to Lozova. The Russians claim that this humanitarian corridor failed because the entire path along here is mined. Or various part of this route is mined. So As a result, the evacuation is not able to be carried out because of the danger on the road. I have no idea how true is this claim. I just want to let you know that this exists out there in the chatters, which also probably meant that the Ukrainians might be already preparing for the fall of Izium, and this is why they actually mine up some part of the roads. I don't think the entire road, of course, this is a very long road, but maybe certain parts of the roads are actually mined and defended. I believe they might want to, hold here, Velyka Novosilka, and Hrushchev. Maybe this is an important point for them to hold. Maybe they also want to hold maybe this part as well to prevent incursion all the way down through this road to Bohdanivka. This is the situation in terms of Izium. So the fall of Izium would mean disaster. There's a direct route all the way to Sloviansk, or they can actually punch through all the way to Bohdanivka. Then down these smaller roads into this road here, which can be used for resupplying through Kramatorsk and then through these smaller roads here. So there are still a lot of smaller roads, that the Ukrainians can use, not just the main roads, which I always talk a lot about. Of course, smaller roads are smaller, so it's not so fast for the vehicles, but it's still some avenues, and I believe the Russians will be interested to take them out. In terms of Severodonetsk front, they are better in the edge of the city of Rubizny. There is also better at Severodonetsk. They did not mention exactly where. So these two parts that is being fought, I believe I can add this maybe here. Better for Severodonetsk. Yep, I think I should just add this in so that we are clear that they are fighting over here. No other progress around the city. They have not cut off the roads for the twin cities. There's battle reported at Popasna, and then at Bakhmut, there's a chatter where one of the Russian Telegram channels mentioned that one of the users actually informed him that the vehicles at Bakhmut is starting to have a fuel problem. They are unable to refuel many of the vehicles. That means they are running out of supplies, running out of fuel, and this is bad because this is actually a hub. For them to have no fuel would mean two things. One, they are not getting the supplies in, or two, they are giving out all the supplies to the front line and they are running out themselves, which also means that soon the front line will also run out because they are unable to resupply them. So this is actually a heads up on what's to come for the East Army. They indeed, as per I have kind of like analyzed, that they might gonna have fuel problems and supply problems soon. You have to understand this is a very far distance. Even in the direct route is still 200 kilometers away. So that is from Dnipro. So that is still a very long distance. And Dnipro has just started getting bombarded. They have been rather untouched throughout the war so far, and they are starting to get bombarded. So this could be a possibility. This could be a possible move that the Russians are trying to start limiting the supplies to the Eastern Front, because I think they are starting to see the possibility of the fall of the Eastern Front now, and they are trying to cut off, create a lot of problems within this city so that resupplying will be interfered or interrupted. Down to the Donetsk Front, which is the main front in this update, the Russians have pushed in the wide front. So it's not just going through the roads as we had seen most of this war. Like, they are not really depending on the roads now. They're actually going through the farmlands on the wide front, this way up. They in the early of the day, they actually reported they have captured the Petrivka, Yevhenivka, Oktyabrskaya line, which is this city, this town village, and this one. So it was originally this line. Later in the day, around the evening time, the Russians have reported that the line is now pushed to this. It's unclear if they actually pass through or they are actually just at the front here. But I indicate them to here, because if they are here, then I don't think the Ukraine is going to hold. And then they are now facing what I call the Ukrainian defense line of Velyka Novosilka, Volodymyrivka, which is this town here and this little city here. This entire line, this is the first major defense line that is being challenged now, I feel. So previously the battles have been small and sporadic, always fighting for small towns and cities. But I believe this is the first continuous line of defense that is being challenged in a big way, that is facing a major offense. So this offensive is not just by the Ukrainians. This is the Ukrainian force. For the first time, the Russians actually show an operational map, so to show their progress. But this map actually indicates the battle until here. They did not indicate the battles to here. So on the Donetsk militia force, or the Donetsk military force, they are also making progress. They have successfully fully captured Volodymyrivka, and then they actually make progress taking this Olinka, Velyka Anado, which is actually a train station of Olinka, and they take Zelenihai. Later in the day, they reported that they have captured Novovorontsovka, Kyiv, and then they also blockaded Bohdanivka. So so I wasn't very clear what do they actually mean by blockaded. So actually, when I saw the Russian map, this map, so what they did was that they actually surrounded this town on 3 sides, leaving just this road out. So they haven't captured this town, but this is actually part of this entire road and defense line that I have been talking about for probably a week already. So this line have to hold, because what is behind this line is the major supply line all the way from Zaporizhia to the Eastern Front. So if this fall, then we will likely see a major offense all the way to this line. And if the Russians are not at this road, at this line here, then resupply will be nearly impossible, because they will be within range of armored vehicles and artillery. So this line have to hold in order for the supplies to still continue to flow through from Zaporizhia to the front line. A breakthrough here, which is likely, given that now they are now in open warfare now, is no longer limited to the roads. Due to the ColdSnap, the grounds are totally frozen now. It seems like the armor are now able to move safely across all this open territory. There is a good chance that the maneuver warfare that the Russians are famous for, with their armored battalions and divisions, are able to do a blitzkrieg all the way up and charge all the way up to either Kurakhov or Constantinople. These are likely objective, and they can actually also take Andriivka, and they can actually, so once they penetrate this line here before they are able to entrench properly, they can hit all the way to Porov, or they can actually turn around and hit the rear of the of this major entrenchment and defense line of the Eastern Army, because we can see that this entire line did not really change much throughout the war. That indicates how strong the defenses are by the Ukrainians. So an attack from the rear would actually disorganize the entire defense, and we can see a major breakthrough from the Donetsk the line here. So there's a lot of things the Russians can do once they can penetrate this defense line, and provided that this defense line is still not organized. If I am the Ukrainians, I have to start reinforcing this line now. I have to start putting troops here and to prepare for the exodus of the troops here that is being routed, so that this line will be intact and will be able to defend a major attack from the Russians that is going through the retreating Ukrainian forces. So it's not a very good situation now for the Ukrainians. Velyka Novosilka is also still under attack. So is Huaypol. Huaypol still whole, which is very interesting. So this is the situation here at the Donetsk Front. Going to the Mariupol, the siege of Mariupol. There is not much information other than that the Russians reported, or from the Russian sources, that the roads and approaches towards the city, probably this road, all the roads that's moving into the city are all heavily mined. And the Donetsk militia sappers or the Russian forces, when they are trying to remove the mines, they are unable to do so because they will go under heavy fire every time they try. So which is probably why there's some kind of a stalemate. There's not much other reports coming out from Mariupol at this moment. I will continue to monitor. So this is what is happening in Mariupol. So coming to the Mykolaiv or Mykolaiv. Yeah, someone corrected the pronunciation. Okay, Mykolaiv front. The Russian. Yesterday I reported there is 2 detachments of Russian forces. One moving up this northern road, the other one going from the southern road. We were trying to determine, how the northern road, the northern forces would go, because the target reportedly is actually Novovorontsovka and Nikopol. So I was anticipating this force on the north might actually not attack here, but they actually head up northwards through Apostolov and go down, or maybe through this. Once they reach this highway, they follow the main road and hit Mayamske first, and then Hrushivka all the way to Nikopol. So what it turned out is that the 2 forces actually merged and attacked Novovorontsovka. From the way how they explain, how they describe, they say that they are in the process of occupying the city. So it doesn't seem like they are fighting for the city. So I can assume that this city is actually undefended, and they are probably taking over the city properly, and probably set up a forward operating base from here, because this is a very rather decent location. Although I would think the Mayamske will be better, then you can actually go on both sides, both wards. One way you can actually attack Kryvyi Rih, or they can actually go into Nikopol. Nikopol is mentioned as a major target. As I explained yesterday, this could be this is for security and insurance reason, because from Nikopol, I believe the artillery will be able to hit the nuclear power plant, and they are probably worried that there might be sabotage operation to hit the power plant, the nuclear power plant. So they might be interested to take out this city. So this is the front, and I think once they go through, I will have to rename the the fronts as maybe Dnipro front or something. So anyway, that's beside the point. So there are reports that fighting started again at Volodymyrivka, but I cannot verify this information much. So there is also still a possibility that Volodymyrivka actually has fallen, but there is no reports of Russian forces moving towards Yuzhno-Ukrainsk, so I cannot confirm this yet. But if there's still no actions or no news from maybe Alexandrivka that Russian forces have been spotted or something, then maybe we can kind of confirm that the Ukrainians still hold most of this city here. But I will track this information here, and I will let you know once I have any information. So there is also information that the Russians captured Myrolubivka. This is the only one, and also Lyubimivka. This is kind of random, if you ask me. Suddenly they just mentioned that they captured these two towns and villages. Not sure what is this supposed to represent. So anyway, this is what they said, so I just gotta indicate. And are they gonna do anything here? I don't think so. It doesn't look very special to me. So anyway, this is just some random capture by the Russian forces. Maybe they have no good news around here, so they want to put some good news by saying some random villages has been captured. So there are reports that up to 50 ships are trapped at the Ukrainian ports because they are unable to sail out of the Ukraine water safely because of naval mines. This is not just for the port here, but the term they used was Ukraine naval ports. So it could be all the ports across Ukraine, and then there are naval mines that are blocking the ships from leaving the port. So this is something to be concerned about. So maybe that is also why we haven't seen any amphibious landing or amphibious attack, because maybe the naval ships don't feel safe enough to actually go close to the coast. So that could be the reason. So anyway, this is the summary for the day 16 of the Ukrainian-Russo war, or Russo-Ukrainian war, or whatever war you want to call it. Or for the Russians, this is not a war, so this is a special operation. So the Ukrainian special operation, not a war. Yep. So this is a summary. Please like and subscribe. You can also like some of the other members, which I feel this has become a community. Some of the members in this community, they actually comment their opinions and their thoughts in the comments, and we can actually discuss furthermore in the comments. So you can feel free to leave comments. I will definitely try my best to reply to every one of you. So that's all for the summary. If you're thinking about this blue one, this is just my search. There's actually bug mode. So, yeah. So that's all for the report for yesterday, and let's see what's to come on day 17 of the Ukrainian war.